Okay, let's go.
Hello there, ChickChatters. We're back with another Gypsy Rose recap. And let me just reiterate real quick. Yes, we are blindly watching the show. We are not talking about the crime or really anything to do with it. We're just basically just going off the reality series. I think we both have opinions about the crime and all that, but I just don't think that we are really a true crime channel, and we're not really going to get too into that.
Right now, I think our vibe with Gypsy is to just ride the Gypsy train that they're serving us, just be entertained by it. So if you want to ride the Gypsy train in any way, feel free to join us. If you don't, we hope to catch you on the next video. But we review reality shows, so that's what we're gonna do here. But we're having fun. We want to welcome all of our new subscribers. Holy cow. We did get a lot of viewers and a lot of new subscribers, and we actually reached our subscriber goal, I think, a lot through the new subs that we got in our first Gypsy episode. So welcome back if you're new, and if you've been here for a while, we're glad that you're still here. Yeah, this is why it's fun.
Yeah, we just like to have fun. We're just trying to have fun with this. We're not taking it too seriously, but it's a fun ride.
Yeah, it's going to be a ride. Just like, I think this is the episode that her stepmom said. Gypsy needs to just put her seatbelt on. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And I think that's what we all need to do here, is just strap in. If you're watching, you're curious. And so let's see what happens. See what they show us.
Yep. And it starts out a little bit bumpy. She's crying, "What if they send me back?" And that's where we start right back off to see that whole scene again play out. Mr. Missouri is back, but
it's Mrs. Missouri now. It's a lady this time.
But it turns out she doesn't have to report so immediately. She can wait till tomorrow morning. So.
Tomorrow immediately.
Tomorrow's
Even Gypsy, when she's like, so the lady did clarify. I think we were a little misinformed last time too, and everybody was, but the lady did clarify that because Gypsy was in prison in Missouri, even though her current probation, because she's going to Louisiana, is there, that Louisiana reports back to Missouri, and Missouri always will have the final say. So I think that clarified for her and for everybody else that even though Mr. Missouri was agitated, he was right. Essentially, she needed to listen to him more, even though Louisiana was nicer. He doesn't matter as much. So they need to report tomorrow immediately, not immediately.
They get to leave at 12
have some breakfast. That's what Ryan was worried about. We can wake up and have breakfast.
I wonder if they even had breakfast. I didn't see them go get breakfast.
McDonald's and got French fries.
That wasn't breakfast.
No, but that's what they did.
I had to process that.
I know they didn't have breakfast because when Gypsy's parents were leaving that morning, what's her mom's name? Her mom was sitting on the couch when they were about to leave, and she was like, "And I'm hungry too." And then they get up and leave. So I'm like, nobody there had breakfast. They were checking out the Airbnb. Nobody made anything. And they left, and then we saw them go to McDonald's. She had those French fries that Ryan wouldn't let her eat in front of the paparazzi.
Was it McDonald's or was it somewhere else?
It was McDonald's, and it was French fry. When you see a McDonald's French fry, she did it sideways into her mouth, so it was out there. It was like,
I get why he did that though, because a lot of celebrities be getting caught eating food all the time, and it really is unflattering. So I don't agree with that. I know that could be seen as controlling, but I honestly would love it if Dean was like, "Please don't eat that French fry. There's a camera right there." I'd be like, "Oh, thank you," because I don't want to be caught eating and unflattering when I'm already being probably caught unflattering.
Gypsy's probably never seen a tabloid that has Jessica Simpson eating ice cream in the worst way. And
Britney Spears having her soda and her cigarette.
Yeah, and it was okay with him not wanting to pull forward because that paparazzi was right there, because then he would get a real close-up photo, and that would probably make his day. But anyways, we skipped ahead a little bit there, so we'll rewind.
Gypsy obviously just wants to do the right thing and get out. She's not really trying to go to this Chiefs game or whatever. She just wants to know what to do. Now that she knows what to do, she's very relieved. Ryan seems relieved. It seemed like they just didn't want to have to leave that day, and I don't blame them because they got up at they were up at 3 a.m. He was wired till 3 in the morning, I'm sure. Didn't sleep a wink.
Been wired, and they hooked up that night.
They had to wake up at 10 a.m. to get these Lifetime cameras in to film them so then they could go get her some shoes, and then they went to this. So they've been on the move this entire time. Adrenaline's going. They had to fight with Mr. Missouri for hours. It's just been a day. So they need to sleep at the very least.
They had gotten clarification they can wait until the next day. So they did do a little coming home party / Christmas. She was opening some gifts. She got more boots that don't fit. I think the problem is not the size, but the calves. She said she has fat calves.
People need to stop buying her them boots. Get her a nice little pair of Uggs or something.
Well, Ryan got her a pair of Louis Vuittons. This little cute pair.
Where is she? Okay, those shoes are nice and everything, but like, I don't know. I'm like a normal person. When and where am I going to wear those all the time? That'd be nice.
Those are closet shoes for Gypsy. Those are on display somewhere in her closet. Probably still right now with Ken.
I'd much rather prefer a nice pair of sneaks or something I'm actually going to get use out of. I might wear those shoes once or twice on a date night or somewhere, but unless this were for her to wear with them outfits that he bought for her when she was in prison. Now that's a different story. Okay.
Because she had that little black one, so that could have went well with her.
Well, with any of them, with the red underneath. He was thinking. I think that now that I'm thinking.
You're thinking. Ryan's thinking.
Now I'm thinking. Ryan's thinking. I'm thinking.
She also got a necklace from her dad that was really nice. And she cried about that a little bit. Yeah, it looks like they had a good night. They made what they could of it.
He picked a good one. I do just wonder, though. I have to wonder, did her dad find one of those one necklaces that already has that saying in there? And he's like, oh, I like this. Or did he write that? No. Yes. My nephew got me a necklace like that. They're cute.
I'm sure that it spoke to him, so he got it for her. Because a lot of those necklaces have a plethora of sayings. So I'm sure that one spoke to him. But I can't imagine he's that good of a writer. He's kind of a quiet guy, but I don't know. Maybe
we always have to remember that Gypsy doesn't probably know any of these things.
I know. Well, and we get a little bit of that later on too when she's questioning her mom about memories that she had and stuff like that. But so they do go to bed. They wake up, and it's definitely clear that Gypsy's having a honeymoon experience with her husband. They're romantic together every night so far, and she's really enjoying that. And she seems really giggly and excited and happy in that moment. So I was happy for her.
In that moment. So back to the whole drive to Louisiana. It's a 13-hour drive, and they got the Paps on their tail. I think it started out with 2 cars.
Yeah, they were right outside the Airbnb, those 2 cars.
Yeah, they've been waiting. Who's got the time? I mean, I guess, but
they do.
They do. I wonder who they were working for. They must have been working for TMZ, I think.
They're getting a bag. I'm not an expert, but I think some paparazzis are just independent and they'll just sell to whoever.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, some of them are for people. They get sent out. I bet you those 2 that were sitting there waiting, they were probably assigned. Sure. Nobody wants to just sit out there.
I wonder if the paparazzi, when you're following somebody that long, do you ever need to eat? Because they watch these people.
I'm sure they bring snacks.
You have to. You have to have so much food in a
when
cooler.
They eat and you bring snacks, and you probably should have at least another person with you if you need to sleep. But it seems like when they got up to the state lines sometime around there, all those paparazzis went away because they did talk about that too. So
because then the FBI of paparazzi must get involved. They can't cross state lines.
Yes, there's limits to those things.
Then the Kansas paparazzis take over, and the Louisiana ones or whatever.
The paparazzi.
Really though, because they pulled off right before the state lines. Like, what? They can't cross state lines.
There's probably some insurance things, like because when you're doing something professionally, you're insured to do it there, not there.
I know.
I have no idea how this works, but if it was some kind of bigger, like TMZ, wouldn't you think they have photographers in every state and they would be calling them, hey, we're coming up on whatever highway, and so, you take over? And
see, I don't know about every state, because a lot of states, they don't really get famous people like that. So they probably have to fly people into these places.
Louisiana. I hear you.
Yeah. They're on a 13-hour drive, and had the paparazzi followed them the whole way, I would have been curious about their well-being, because you got to follow these people, and when they stop, you can't stop and eat yourself. You got to take pictures. You're working then.
When did they go to the bathroom?
Exactly. Do you have pee bottles and coolers full of stuff? What's going on? I have so many questions for the paparazzi. If I were to be around paparazzi, I'd be like the paparazzi's paparazzi. I'd be like, hey, I got questions.
If any of you chick chatters are paparazzi or have in your past experience been one, we might want to interview you.
And if I ever end up in LA, I'll interview them. I'll be the paparazzi to the paparazzi. I'm your girl.
Can you imagine if the paparazzi got famous and we got people following the people, taking pictures of the people? This is too much. Back to Gypsy.
So they finally get to Louisiana, and the first thing we get, well, other than Gypsy asking Alexa for Taylor Swift, I loved this scene. I just thought it was so funny because she probably has never spoken to Alexa in her life. She's like, Alexa, please play. I think it was Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
I feel like she's been waiting to tell Alexa to do that forever, and Alexa was just like, nah, bitch.
Oh, she was like, do you want to start a subscription? She's like, yes. She's like, we don't have payment information. And she's like, oh, seemed upset. I just loved it.
I know.
And then afterwards, we get this weird confessional-ish with Ryan. And he's talking about her parents coming up because apparently her parents are going to be up in a couple days. He's like, when they're here, you know, I'll give them their time, but it's also my time too. Her time is my time. It's my wife and my time. And I'm like, who made you the allocator of everybody's time?
And who keeps track like that? You're married to this woman. You supposedly have the rest of your life with her. So just stop it right now. I think he was low-key a little bit upset that her parents were just turning around and coming right back to his house for the New Year's, but they've never got to spend the New Year's with her either. I get that he hasn't, but it's just not the same. Just share the time.
Share the time, because really it's really honestly more their time if you think about it.
Gypsy's time. It's Gypsy's goddamn time.
Well, I know that, but although her dad has had a lot of time to try to come back and try to find her and whatever, they still have been waiting 20 years.
As a twang this whole time.
It comes and goes. I also live in Texas, you guys, so sometimes this just happens to me on a regular anyways.
This is gonna be a good one, Chick Chatter.
Just let her spend some time with her family, and don't even look at it like that. Like you said, it is Gypsy's time. If Gypsy's like, I want to spend some time with my dad and my stepmom, or my mom, whatever she wants to call it, stepmommy mom.
Mom. What's her name, Christy?
Yeah, Christy. If I want to spend time with them, then I'll spend time with them. If I want to sit here and talk to Alexa, I'll sit here and spend my time with Alexa.
And eventually, if I want to get a puppy,
get a damn puppy, I guess, and then leave it with you.
I'm just put all this together right now that they got that puppy.
That's exactly what happened.
I know, I just realized. I just put the present and the past together.
Now does his little responsibility thing mean more?
Oh my gosh. Ooh, this is funny. You guys, I just think this stuff is funny.
Anyways, so after his weird, tense confessional about time, while he's wasting all this time that he has with her, because honestly, in the long run, Ryan, your time's pretty limited. You just didn't know it.
Maybe that he had this internal sense, like, I'm only going to have so much time.
These people are going to have a lot more time than me.
So true. He knew.
So after that, they pretty much just show the parents coming up for New Year's. It's just them. I mean, if she didn't just get out of prison and everything, I would think this is the weirdest thing ever. They had their own little dance, it seemed, in the living room. Yeah. So I don't know what that was.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like a little emotionally touched by that. Maybe I was just in the moment watching the show, because the second time I wasn't so much, but the first time I watched it, I just thought it was precious, especially when her dad was like, I've never been able to dance with her before.
He never thought he'd be able to dance with her because of her being in the wheelchair. Yeah. I loved that part.
Before they dance, Gypsy brings up a memory that she had with Christy. Oh, yeah. I think Gypsy's probably processing a lot. She tells Christy that my mom told me back when I was doing, it seems like some kind of Special Olympics or some situation.
She did do the Special Olympics, yeah.
So I guess her dad came to see her at least on one occasion, and Gypsy's mom supposedly told her that her dad called her a derogatory word.
Mhm.
And that she said that that's why she doesn't invite them around, that she's trying to protect Gypsy and those kinds of things. So she was trying to confront that memory. And I think Gypsy knew that there wasn't any fact to that now that she knows what she knows about her mom. But I think she still really had to hear it from, at least from Christy, because I'm sure she still has those opinions inside. She needs to kind of be proved wrong, even if she knows that
Mhm.
it's wrong. So I thought that it shows that they really do have as good of a relationship as they say that they do. Because I think it took a lot of courage for Gypsy to just ask her that.
I think she's doing a lot of processing, like you said, because she spent all this time in prison. She probably hasn't had a lot of opportunity to ask just these one-off questions that I'm sure have bothered her for the last 20 years or so, but she
Mhm.
didn't know how to ask or if she should ask. She doesn't seem very
Especially when you're not face to face or you can't have time for a long conversation. Prison conversations at best are 15 to 20 minutes and they're costly.
right. Her dad just came back into her life. I'm sure she also didn't really want to rock the boat for a while either. And that's probably why she didn't say it to him and she said it to Christy. It's like a buffer in a way
Yeah.
because
'Cause I don't think she's trying to accuse him. She just wants to be told by somebody that there's no way that he said that.
I felt bad a little bit for that because it is sad that seemingly, I mean, she's been lied to about a lot of things.
Gypsy's sister talks in this episode feeling like she's daddy's little girl, but she's also ready to sort of let Gypsy experience that. And so it also leads me to believe that this dad would not say that about Gypsy. And it's hard to think that Gypsy has all these memories that aren't even true, are sad and make her feel bad about herself and her dad and all of that. And her sister has the same dad and thinks the world of him because she
Yeah.
had the opportunity to be around him. So I hope that they are able to have a good relationship.
It's wild to watch Gypsy navigate out of prison for these first few days, especially because it's almost like a baby coming out of the womb, looking out and around.
Mhm.
Because she talks about how before she was really just existing. Her mom did all the driving, the cooking, the cleaning, all of that. She really was just existing, probably watching kids' movies and
Yeah.
dressing up and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like that was most of what she did. And going from that to crazy, I mean, we're not getting into her crime, but that, and then prison, which is also very structured. She said she's used to the structure of it, at least, because at least they told her what to do, what to wear, where to go, what job to do, whatever the case is. It's always been structured. And then she comes out of prison. Now she has to deal with all this stuff that she probably put on hold for a while because she was in a nice structured environment. It's
Yeah.
just crazy to watch.
I think Christy's right. It's going to be a bumpy ride. We're seeing it in real time as we speak and also on this show.
She's got to live a lot of years in a short amount of time, that's for sure. So after this visit from her parents, they're just showing Ryan and Gypsy and their home life. He went grocery shopping and she's trying to make some prison drink. He's not about it. He comes back with it looked like just a normal amount of groceries, and he's like, "Don't send a big boy out to get food." And it's like, you just got home a normal amount of groceries. I mean,
I wonder if she sent him though, maybe just for the stuff to make her gross drink. She called it a rack. I wonder if maybe she just sent him out to get that or something. But anyways,
yeah,
yeah, that looks disgusting. I actually laughed out loud though at Ryan's reaction, especially because she's pouring him that drink and some
he's
kind
like,
of chunk comes out, and he's like, "You want me to drink that chunk?" And she's just like, "Oh, it's extra flavor." I said,
little
"What?
Jolly Rancher. I was like,
What do you need a Jolly Rancher in there for when you already have the flavor of coffee, soda, juice? You need extra Jolly Rancher crushed
extra
up."
sugar, just
She
sugar
said
on
she
sugar.
drank this every other day.
I would have made the same face Ryan made when he went to drink it. I probably wouldn't even drink it.
Watch me one day. I mean, please never, ever, ever. But if I ever end up in prison, I bet you I'm gonna be in here drinking this.
You probably will.
I love coffee.
It sounded gross. It looked a bit gross, but she's chugged it. She was
She
happy with
loved
it.
it. She was so excited to have it. It's funny though. She's been drinking that for 8 years. It doesn't matter that it's something you make in prison. You want what you want in the morning. Or people are creatures of habit. She's probably been craving one of those. I want to ask her, was it better in prison or was it better when it's,
When it's from
clean
the
and in a kitchen?
store.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
I wanted to know immediately.
Gypsy, if you see this, let us know.
Or if anyone else has been to prison and they have made a rack and came home, is the prison rack better or is the home rack better? And
Or
why?
even just anything that you used to have in prison that was really good in prison. When you tried to have that same thing that's not normal to have out here, was it good?
Yeah, like I know they do all kinds of things with honey buns and ramen noodles, and they make all kinds of cakes and pies.
They get creative up in there. They do a lot with a little. So after that, we see Gypsy and Ryan talk about getting a puppy. And this is the whole beans and meat of the end of the episode, the conflict of the episode, the big end. You know, I think it so pales in comparison to the last big end that we had with Mr. Missouri. You need to report immediately. Now we're just getting Ryan trying to talk Gypsy out of getting a puppy. I do think it's a little soon to be taking on a responsibility. I think it made sense what she said to us in the confessional. She says that she's just never been alone before, so she doesn't even know how to think about being alone. So she's like, let me get a puppy. But I don't think she ever communicated that to Ryan, and I think she should have. Yeah. They just didn't show that, but I think it would have made more sense in Ryan's head why Gypsy is so hell-bent on getting a puppy right now. Mm-hmm. I don't like his tone when he talked to her. I do think he kind of talked to her a little bit like a child. I think he might be doing that all the time. But I do agree with him telling her that it is a responsibility, because I just had to have this conversation with my own husband because we're about to get a puppy tomorrow. And that's so I'm kind of going through it. It is, because he wants a puppy to bond with him the way my dog has bonded with me. He wants a female. This would be more his dog, because I'm not saying that it wouldn't be our family dog, but dogs, especially of these breeds, they'll pick one favorite person in the house that they'll really bond to. And he wants that. I'm fine with that, especially because he's supposed to be home for a while. He's not supposed to deploy or anything anytime soon. We have a good situation right now between us, so where we could probably just bring in a puppy and everything would be okay. We don't have a kid just yet. He's got some time to train it, whatever. I did have to have the talk with him. You got to be able to do X, Y, and Z. You got to have time. You won't be on these video games as much as you are. Like, this dog is fully trained. You're going to have to actually spend a lot of one-on-one time with her. You're also going to have to integrate. So it's going to be a process. And it's not just something you go into willy-nilly. Even when we went to go see one of these puppies, we were talking to the guy and he was like, we get it if you don't want to make the decision right now, because it's a lifelong commitment. For the duration of their life, you want to be able to have this dog. I mean, I get where he was coming from. There is a way to speak to somebody in their 30s, though, that doesn't sound like, okay, sweetie. Okay. So passive. I didn't like that about it. It seemed like she was trying to explain, even though she was upset, she was trying to explain how she felt. I don't like being talked to like I'm a child. I don't like being talked to like I don't know anything. But, I mean, I'll also give another point to Ryan, where this lady left him with this puppy. So, I mean...
Ryan has a good intuition. He knew he was short on time. He knew the puppy was a bad idea. Okay? I know. And the thing is, too, I kind of feel for Ryan in this moment, because he says some comment about, I don't want to be a controlling husband because I'm not. And those are his words. But I still want to be able to say things that a normal husband would say. And I think, just like you said, you're talking with your husband right now, just on the other end, about the responsibilities of the thing that he wants to do. I think normal spouses do in a supportive way. Say, you realize the responsibility, or you realize you want to do this, you realize what else needs to be done. That's just kind of part of having a partnership, is that both of you are involved in that decision. I think Gypsy is a little bit triggered right now too, but I also agree. I think she may not be as triggered if Ryan's tone was a little different. They're both right. I mean, there's no wrong answer. They just have to learn how to communicate.
Well, at the end of the day, I guess Ryan was a little bit more right, because now he's left with this dog.
Ryan had the looking eye into the future. So
he's like Raven. I mean, we keep having these Raven Simone moments. He's seeing his own future and shit. That's pretty much the episode. They kind of just leave it off on Ryan trying to tell Gypsy, it's all right. It's all right.
I think he doesn't want to push her too hard, especially right now. I think they're both doing that too. And they're very much in a honeymoon type of phase where they're really trying to feel each other out. We also saw in this episode for the first time, at least on camera, that Gypsy told Ryan that he's hovering because we noticed he was hovering last episode.
But
So finally she has a word that she's identified to say back off. That seems to be nice enough for him, but he did seem a little irritated, but he was hovering. So.
He addressed that too in a recent podcast or something interview or whatever. He talked about people's reactions to him in that first episode. And he said that, well, wouldn't you be all over her too if you haven't seen your wife? You know, she's in prison for 3 years. Of course, I'm going to be a little bit all over her. And he's like, and if your husband wasn't all over you after being in prison for 3 years, then you'd be feeling weird. So sure, whatever. I thought it was just a little bit creepy the way it was coming off. I just thought that the microwaving of the fries and whatever. I don't know if he's watching our video. Maybe Ryan's seen one of our videos or something because he says that. He knows people have been making fun of him and said that he thinks of
lovingly, Ryan.
Mockery is a form of flattery, and you know what? Sure.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I said lovingly. I'm not mad at this man. I'm entertained. I hope you guys are entertained too. I hope you join us back for the next episode.
One thing we forgot about in this, and we're gonna have to go way back, but in the car on the way to Louisiana, Gypsy decides to tell Ryan that Christy told her that Ken had messaged her. And then Ryan was upset by this. Why would she even tell you that?
Christy even respect our marriage.
And that's the thing. Your wife only hearing another man's name out of someone's mouth, if you're worried that she's going to leave you based off of just hearing about somebody asking about her, then that's not a marriage. Then you know this wasn't going to work out long term because she's obviously not over this man, and you know that. Ryan, this doesn't sound good.
Very true. No, we already got Ken sniffing around. I was surprised how early that it happened, too. I figured it'd be at least 3 or 4 episodes in until we heard anything about Ken.
It was second episode, and apparently he got a hold of her first episode.
He didn't waste no time.
He heard she was getting out. He was like, all right, let me shoot my shot now.
He knew where to go to. He knew to go to Christy. I think Christy is supportive of Gypsy, but I do think she is suspicious of Ryan. And so I think Christy's probably the weakest link right now.
I'm honestly suspicious of Ken as well. I mean, I think that any guy that gets with a famous prisoner like that while they're in prison, I mean,
Gypsy called her own self out. She's like, I don't know why people would marry me. I can't cook. I can't do things that I can't.
She don't know nothing about nothing.
Right.
She's at even more of a disadvantage than a normal girl who don't know nothing about nothing because she didn't even get to experience regular things. This girl's been watching Disney movies. That's it. That's her real experience with world is childlike stuff until she turned like 20s or something. I suss a lot of these men, but especially this Ken guy because he comes in the picture again once she's actually famous and out of prison. I don't know. I can't help but think he's a little bit of a clout chaser, but that's just my opinion before meeting him.
I guess we're gonna see. So next we get Gypsy goes to New York. We also get a PO meeting, and she's going to also talk about adjusting to some of the media and the attention. She talks about getting death threats and things like that, which I'm not surprised. I
will say she's very open. I remember those interviews. She was talking about Ken getting hold of her. She's like, yeah, he got a hold of my stepmom. Ryan's right next to her. She's very open about herself. She's very, very open. She'll just say what's going on.
Well, okay, ChickChatters.
It's been fun. We never expected to get as many views on that last video. So if y'all are returning from that, thank you.
Yeah.
We're just trying to have some fun with y'all and enjoy whatever series that Lifetime's going to give me.
Thank you. We'll see you back next time.
Like, subscribe, share, reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, repeat, whatever you got to do. But if you are new here, please subscribe. Oh, we have a new subscriber goal of 350. So we would love to do that.
Help us meet that goal.
Catch you on the next one.
Bye.